There's a secret that billionaires don't want you to know. It's so powerful that they spend millions of dollars every year to keep it hidden from you. It's so simple that if everyone understood it, the entire economic system would collapse overnight. That secret is quantum manifestation, the natural ability of human consciousness to create reality, not the watered-down version they sell you in self-help books, but the real, unfiltered truth about how reality actually works at the quantum level. Why would billionaires want to keep this from you? Because their wealth depends on your limitation. Their power depends on your powerlessness. Their abundance depends on your scarcity. If you knew how easy it actually is to manifest wealth, you wouldn't need their jobs, their loans, their products, or their systems. The manifestation industry itself is part of this conspiracy. They've taken something naturally simple and made it seem complicated, mystical, and difficult. They've convinced you that you need courses, coaches, and complicated techniques when the truth is that you were born with everything you need. Today, I'm going to expose the real conspiracy behind manifestation misinformation. I'm going to show you why quantum manifestation is actually childishly simple, how billionaires use these same principles while keeping them from you, and what happens when you discover the truth they don't want you to know. But be warned, once you see how the game really works, you can never go back to believing their lies about limitation, hard work, and scarcity. You'll realize that poverty is programmed, struggle is manufactured, and the only thing keeping you from abundance is your belief in their stories about why you can't have it. Are you ready to discover what they've been hiding from you? The conspiracy isn't what you think. It's not a group of billionaires meeting in secret rooms plotting your downfall. It's something far more insidious and effective. A system of beliefs, structures, and narratives that naturally keep wealth concentrated among those who understand quantum manifestation while keeping everyone else trapped in limitation. Billionaires don't need to actively suppress you. They just need to ensure you never discover your natural manifestation abilities. And they do this through funding education systems, media narratives, and cultural beliefs that program limitation into your consciousness from birth. Think about what you were taught about money, success, and abundance. You were told that wealth requires hard work, sacrifice, and luck. You were taught that there's not enough to go around. You were convinced that rich people are either lucky, talented, or corrupt. Anything except conscious creators who understand how reality works. These beliefs serve a purpose. They keep you operating from limitation consciousness while those who know better operate from abundance consciousness. This creates a self-reinforcing system where the rich get richer while the poor get poorer, not because of external factors but because of consciousness differences. The education system, funded by billionaire foundations, teaches you to be an employee rather than a creator. It trains you to follow instructions rather than think independently. It convinces you that success requires credentials from institutions they control. This creates a workforce of people who believe they need permission to succeed. The media, owned by billionaire corporations, constantly reinforces scarcity narratives. Every story about economic struggle, every report about inflation and recession, every documentary about inequality, all of these program your subconscious with limitation beliefs while portraying wealth as either unattainable or morally questionable. The financial system itself is designed to keep you dependent. Credit systems, loan structures, and investment vehicles are all created to extract wealth from those who don't understand manifestation while concentrating it among those who do. They convince you to trade your time for money while they create money from consciousness. Religious institutions, often funded by wealthy donors, teach you that poverty is virtuous and that wanting material abundance is sinful. This spiritual guilt around wealth is one of the most effective ways to block natural manifestation abilities. They convince you that suffering is noble, while abundance is suspicious. Even the self-help industry is part of this system. They take simple manifestation principles and wrap them in complex methodologies that require ongoing investment in courses, coaching, and products. They make you believe that manifestation is difficult and that you need their guidance to succeed. The result is a population that has been systematically disconnected from their natural creative abilities while being convinced that their limitation is normal, necessary, and even virtuous. Meanwhile, those who understand quantum manifestation operate from entirely different principles and create entirely different results. But here's what they don't want you to realize. Every billionaire uses manifestation principles, whether they call them that or not. They understand that consciousness creates reality, that beliefs shape experiences, and that certain mental and emotional states attract certain outcomes. Warren Buffett doesn't just analyze companies. He operates from abundance consciousness that attracts profitable opportunities. Jeff Bezos didn't just work hard. He held a vision of the future and took actions aligned with that vision until reality matched it. Elon Musk doesn't just innovate. He believes in impossible possibilities until they become inevitable realities. The difference between billionaires and ordinary people isn't talent, education, or luck. It's consciousness. Billionaires operate from the quantum understanding that reality is malleable and consciousness is creative, while most people operate from the programmed belief that reality is fixed and they are powerless. This consciousness difference creates what appears to be natural inequality, but it's actually manufactured inequality maintained through systematic suppression of manifestation knowledge. The truth about quantum manifestation is so simple that they've had to create elaborate lies to keep you from discovering it. The basic principle can be stated in one sentence. Your consistent consciousness creates your consistent reality. That's it. There's no complicated technique, no secret formula, no advanced training required. Whatever you're consistently conscious of becomes your consistent experience. The only reason this seems difficult is because you've been programmed to be consistently conscious of limitation. Quantum physics has proven that consciousness affects reality at the fundamental level. The observer effect demonstrates that conscious observation changes the behavior of particles. The double-slit experiment shows that consciousness determines whether energy appears as waves or particles. These aren't metaphysical concepts. They're scientific facts. But here's what the science really means in practical terms. Your consciousness is constantly collapsing infinite possibilities into specific experiences. Every moment, you're choosing which reality to experience through what you focus on, believe in, and expect to happen. Most people have been trained to focus on problems, believe in limitations, and expect struggle. So that's exactly what they manifest. More problems, more limitations, more struggle. They think this is just how life is, not realizing they're actively creating it through their consciousness. Billionaires, consciously or unconsciously, focus on opportunities, believe in possibilities, and expect success. So they manifest more opportunities, more possibilities, more success. They think this is natural, not realizing that most people have been programmed to do the opposite. The manifestation process happens in 3 simple steps that operate automatically, whether you're conscious of them or not. Step 1. Focus determines what you notice. Whatever you consistently focus on, you notice more of in your environment. If you focus on lack, you notice evidence of lack everywhere. If you focus on abundance, you notice evidence of abundance everywhere. Step 2. Belief determines what you expect. Whatever you believe about reality determines what you expect to happen. If you believe success is difficult, you expect difficulty and unconsciously create it. If you believe success is natural, you expect ease and unconsciously create it. Step 3. Expectation determines what you experience. Whatever you expect consistently becomes your consistent experience. This happens through both psychological and quantum mechanisms that align circumstances with expectations. The reason manifestation seems mysterious or unreliable is that most people have mixed, confused, or contradictory consciousness. They want abundance while focusing on lack. They desire success while believing it's difficult. They hope for change while expecting more of the same. Billionaires have consistent consciousness. They focus consistently on opportunities, believe consistently in possibilities, and expect consistently positive outcomes. This creates coherent signals in the quantum field that produce coherent results. The simplicity is profound. Align your focus, beliefs, and expectations with what you want to experience. Maintain that alignment consistently, and reality will reorganize itself around your new consciousness state. But here's why they don't want you to know this. If everyone understood that consciousness creates reality, the entire system of artificial scarcity would collapse. People would stop accepting limitation as normal. They would stop trading their life energy for survival wages. They would stop believing that wealth is reserved for a special few. The current economic system depends on the majority believing in limitation, while the minority operates from abundance. If the majority discovered their natural manifestation abilities, the artificial hierarchy would dissolve, and wealth would distribute more naturally based on contribution rather than consciousness manipulation. This is why manifestation teachings are either hidden, distorted, or made unnecessarily complex. Simple truth is dangerous to systems built on complicated lies. The manifestation process is as natural as breathing. You don't have to learn how to do it. You're already doing it perfectly. You just have to become conscious of what you're creating and choose to create what you actually want, instead of what you've been programmed to expect. Children demonstrate this simplicity naturally. They focus on what they want, believe it's possible, and expect it to happen. Adults have been trained out of this natural ability through education systems designed to create limitation consciousness. The path back to your natural manifestation ability is not learning something new. It's unlearning the programmed limitations that block your natural creative power. While they keep manifestation principles hidden from the masses, billionaires use these same principles openly in their business strategies, investment decisions, and life choices. Understanding how they actually operate reveals the practical application of quantum manifestation at the highest levels. Vision-based decision-making is fundamental to billionaire consciousness. Billionaires don't make decisions based on current circumstances. They make decisions based on the future they're creating. This is pure manifestation in action. They hold a clear vision of what they want to achieve and make every decision as if that future is already real. Jeff Bezos didn't see a small online bookstore when he started Amazon. He saw the future of retail and made decisions aligned with that vision even when current reality didn't support it. This vision-based decision-making is how consciousness creates reality through action. Belief in impossible possibilities sets billionaires apart from ordinary thinkers. Every billionaire has believed in something that seemed impossible to everyone else. Elon Musk believed in electric cars when everyone said it was impossible. Bill Gates believed in a computer on every desk when computers filled entire rooms. Steve Jobs believed in intuitive technology when computers required technical expertise. This ability to believe in impossible possibilities is exactly what quantum manifestation requires, holding consciousness of realities that don't yet exist in physical form until they manifest. Abundance thinking. Patterns naturally characterize billionaire consciousness. Billionaires naturally think in terms of abundance rather than scarcity. When they see a market, they think about how to expand it, rather than how to compete for limited pieces. When they encounter problems, they think about how to solve them profitably rather than how to avoid them. This abundance thinking creates abundance experiences because consciousness naturally attracts matching circumstances. Long-term probability. Thinking allows billionaires to manifest consistently over time. Billionaires understand that quantum manifestation works through probability shifts rather than instant magic. They position themselves in probability streams that favor their desired outcomes over long periods. Warren Buffett doesn't expect every investment to succeed immediately. He positions himself in probability streams where compound growth over time creates massive results. This patience with probability while maintaining vision is advanced manifestation practice. Energy and attention management reveals billionaire understanding of consciousness mechanics. Billionaires are extremely protective of their energy and attention because they understand these are the tools of consciousness creation. They delegate, systematize, and eliminate anything that doesn't align with their vision. This isn't just efficiency, it's consciousness management. They understand that scattered attention creates scattered results while focused attention creates focused results. Relationship with risk and uncertainty demonstrates advanced manifestation consciousness. Billionaires have a completely different relationship with risk than ordinary people. They understand that uncertainty is where possibilities live, so they become comfortable with uncertainty rather than seeking false security. This comfort with uncertainty allows them to take actions aligned with their vision, even when outcomes aren't guaranteed, which is exactly what manifestation requires. Systems, thinking, and leverage multiply manifestation effectiveness. Billionaires think in systems rather than individual actions. They create structures that generate results automatically, rather than trading their personal time for money. This systems thinking is how they leverage consciousness. They create physical systems that embody their consciousness and continue manifesting results even when they're not personally involved. Strategic giving and flow demonstrates understanding of energetic principles. Most billionaires eventually become philanthropists, not just for altruistic reasons, but because they understand that giving creates energetic flow that attracts more abundance. They've learned that hoarding blocks flow while generous circulation increases it. This understanding of energetic flow principles is advanced manifestation knowledge applied at massive scale. Continuous learning and adaptation keeps manifestation abilities growing. Billionaires remain students throughout their lives. constantly learning and adapting their approaches. They understand that manifestation isn't a fixed technique, but a dynamic relationship with consciousness and reality. This openness to learning and adaptation keeps their manifestation abilities growing rather than becoming rigid and ineffective. Inner circle and environmental design support sustained high consciousness. Billionaires carefully curate their inner circles and environments to support their vision and consciousness. They surround themselves with people who think abundantly and environments that reinforce possibility rather than limitation. This environmental consciousness management is how they maintain the internal states necessary for consistent manifestation. The key insight is that billionaires use manifestation principles unconsciously and naturally. Because they've never been programmed with the limitation beliefs that block most people, they operate from what manifestation teachers call natural abundance consciousness, because they've never fully accepted scarcity programming. They don't need to practice manifestation techniques because they already embody manifestation principles in their thinking, feeling, and action patterns. The techniques that ordinary people need to learn are simply attempts to recreate the natural consciousness states that billionaires maintain automatically. The system that keeps you poor isn't maintained through force, it's maintained through programming. From birth to death, you're exposed to carefully crafted messages that program limitation consciousness while keeping you unaware that you're being programmed. Educational programming forms the foundation of limitation consciousness. The education system teaches you that success requires external validation, institutional approval, and conformity to existing systems. You learn to be a good employee rather than a creative entrepreneur. You're taught to follow instructions rather than trust your inner guidance. This creates workers who believe they need permission to succeed and who trade their creative power for job security. Meanwhile, the children of billionaires often receive different education that emphasizes creativity, leadership, and independent thinking. Media programming continuously reinforces limitation beliefs. Every movie, TV show, news report, and advertisement contains subtle messages about money, success, and possibility. Poor people are portrayed as virtuous but powerless. Rich people are portrayed as either lucky or corrupt. Struggle is glamorized while abundance is made to seem unattainable or suspicious. This constant exposure to limitation narratives programs your subconscious to expect struggle and distrust abundance, making manifestation feel unnatural or wrong. Religious programming creates spiritual blocks to abundance. Many religious teachings, while containing genuine spiritual wisdom, have been distorted to program poverty consciousness. You're taught that poverty is virtuous, that wanting material abundance is sinful, and that you should accept limitation as God's will. This spiritual guilt around abundance is one of the most effective blocks to manifestation because it makes wealth feel morally wrong rather than naturally available. Social programming reinforces limitation through peer pressure. Your family, friends, and community constantly reinforce limitation beliefs through casual conversation. Money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy. You have to work hard for everything. Life isn't fair. These phrases program scarcity consciousness through repetition. Social pressure to conform to limitation beliefs keeps you from expressing natural abundance consciousness, even when you recognize it. Economic programming maintains systemic dependence. The entire economic system is designed to make you believe that money is scarce, that you must compete for limited resources, and that your survival depends on participating in systems controlled by others. Credit systems keep you in debt. Job markets make you compete against each other. Investment systems are designed to benefit institutions rather than individuals. All of this reinforces the programming that you are powerless and dependent. Linguistic programming embeds limitation in language itself. The very language you use contains embedded limitation beliefs. I can't afford it. That's impossible. Money is the root of all evil. I'm not lucky. These phrases program your subconscious every time you speak them. Even positive affirmations can reinforce limitation if they're stated from a consciousness of lack, trying to get abundance rather than abundance recognizing itself. Technological programming fragments attention and consciousness. Social media algorithms are designed to keep you engaged through controversy, comparison, and emotional reactivity. This constant stimulation keeps you in survival consciousness rather than creative consciousness. The technology that could support manifestation, meditation apps, educational content, consciousness tools, is buried under addictive content designed to fragment your attention and exhaust your mental energy. Time programming creates scarcity around time itself. You're taught to trade time for money, which programs the belief that your creative power is limited by time. This creates anxiety about not having enough time and makes abundance feel impossible within time constraints. Billionaires understand that consciousness creates results regardless of time investment, so they focus on consciousness quality rather than time quantity. The sophisticated nature of this programming system is that it's largely unconscious and automatic. Most people don't realize they're being programmed because the programming comes disguised as education, entertainment, information, and social interaction. The programming is also self-reinforcing. Once you accept limitation beliefs, you attract experiences that confirm those beliefs, which strengthens the programming and makes it seem like objective reality rather than subjective programming. Breaking free from this programming requires recognizing it first, then consciously choosing different thoughts, beliefs, and expectations despite social pressure to conform to limitation consciousness. This is why manifestation can seem difficult initially. You're not just learning new skills. You're deprogramming years or decades of systematic limitation conditioning while surrounded by others who are still programmed. But once you see the programming clearly, you can never be fully controlled by it again. You begin to make conscious choices about what to think, believe, and expect, rather than automatically accepting whatever programming is offered. Now that you understand the conspiracy in programming systems, let me reveal the actual manifestation process that billionaires use unconsciously and that you can apply consciously. This isn't theory. This is the practical mechanics of how consciousness creates reality. Phase 1. Consciousness selection is the foundation of all manifestation. The first phase is choosing what to be consistently conscious of. This isn't about occasional positive thinking. It's about fundamentally shifting what occupies your mental and emotional space most of the time. Billionaires are consistently conscious of opportunities, possibilities, solutions, and growth. Poor people are consistently conscious of problems, limitations, obstacles, and security. This consistency of consciousness creates consistency of experience. To shift your consciousness selection, you must become aware of your automatic mental patterns and gradually replace limitation-focused thinking with abundance-focused thinking. This doesn't mean ignoring problems. It means focusing on solutions rather than problems, possibilities rather than limitations, what you want rather than what you don't want. Phase 2. Belief integration involves integrating new beliefs at a subconscious level so they become automatic assumptions rather than conscious efforts. Your beliefs determine what you consider possible, probable, and inevitable. If you believe wealth is difficult to create, you'll unconsciously create difficulty around wealth. If you believe abundance is natural, you'll unconsciously create ease around abundance. Belief integration requires more than intellectual acceptance. It requires emotional and energetic acceptance that makes new beliefs feel natural rather than forced. Phase 3. Expectation. Alignment aligns your expectations with your desired reality rather than your current circumstances. This is where most people fail because they expect based on past experience rather than future possibility. Billionaires expect positive outcomes not because they're optimistic, but because they understand that expectations create experiences. They literally expect reality to conform to their vision. This expectation alignment must be genuine rather than forced. You can't fake expectations because your subconscious knows the difference between genuine expectation and wishful thinking. Phase 4. Action alignment involves taking actions that align with your new consciousness, rather than actions that reinforce old patterns. This includes both external actions and internal practices. External actions are the practical steps that demonstrate your new consciousness. Making decisions as if your desired reality is already true, investing in your vision, taking calculated risks aligned with abundance rather than scarcity. Internal practices are the consciousness maintenance activities that keep you aligned with abundance consciousness rather than slipping back into limitation patterns. Phase 5. Reality recognition is recognizing manifestation results when they appear and reinforcing the process through appreciation rather than immediately reaching for the next goal. Most people miss manifestation results because they're looking for exactly what they visualized, rather than recognizing how the universe might deliver something even better. They also fail to appreciate results, which breaks the manifestation cycle. Billionaires are excellent at recognizing and appreciating manifestation results, which creates positive momentum that accelerates future manifestations. The consciousness consistency factor is the key to the entire process. The key to the entire process is consistency. Occasional abundance thinking doesn't override consistent limitation thinking. Occasional positive expectations don't override consistent negative expectations. Manifestation works through the consciousness you maintain most consistently, not the consciousness you access occasionally during meditation or visualization practices. This is why billionaires manifest so effectively. They've never fully accepted limitation programming, so their consciousness naturally remains focused on abundance and possibility. The time lag factor explains delays between consciousness and manifestation. Understanding the time lag between consciousness shifts and physical manifestation prevents premature abandonment of the process. Consciousness changes happen instantly, but physical reality sometimes takes time to reorganize around new consciousness. This time lag varies based on how different your desired reality is from your current reality, how consistently you maintain the new consciousness, and how much resistance you have to receiving what you want. The compound effect accelerates results over time. Like compound interest, manifestation results accelerate over time. Early manifestations might be small, but they build confidence and momentum that enables larger manifestations. Billionaires understand this compound effect and remain patient with the process while maintaining consistency with their vision and consciousness practices. The natural flow principle distinguishes authentic from forced manifestation. The most powerful manifestations feel natural and effortless, rather than forced or struggled for. When you're aligned with the right consciousness, opportunities appear, resources become available, and circumstances arrange themselves with minimal personal effort. This natural flow is what distinguishes authentic manifestation from struggling to make things happen through willpower alone. Once you understand how the programming system works and how manifestation actually operates, you face a choice: remain comfortable in limitation or break free into your natural creative power. Breaking free requires specific strategies because the matrix will try to pull you back. Recognizing matrix pullback is essential for sustained freedom. The moment you start manifesting real results, the matrix will attempt to pull you back through various mechanisms. Social pressure from people who want you to stay at their level, unexpected obstacles that test your commitment, internal resistance from old programming, and fear of your own power. Understanding that this pullback is normal and temporary helps you persist through it rather than interpreting it as evidence that manifestation doesn't work. Information diet management becomes crucial for maintaining new consciousness. Breaking free requires carefully managing what information you consume. Mainstream media, social media, and casual conversation are designed to reinforce limitation programming. Create an information diet that supports abundance consciousness. Books by conscious creators, content that expands possibility thinking, conversations with people who think abundantly, and environments that reinforce your vision. Social circle curation supports your consciousness evolution. Your social environment heavily influences your consciousness. People operating from limitation consciousness will unconsciously try to keep you at their level through discouragement, skepticism, and social pressure. Gradually curate your social circle to include more people who think abundantly and fewer people who reinforce limitation. This doesn't mean abandoning relationships, but rather managing how much influence different people have on your consciousness. Environmental design reinforces your new consciousness patterns. Design your physical environment to support abundance consciousness rather than limitation consciousness. This includes everything from the books on your shelves, to the artwork on your walls, to the conversations you have in your home. Your environment should remind you of possibility rather than limitation, abundance rather than scarcity, creativity rather than conformity. Practice. Independence maintains consciousness regardless of circumstances. Develop practices that maintain your consciousness independently of external circumstances. This includes meditation, visualization, journaling, or any practice that connects you with your natural creative power. These practices become your anchor when external circumstances or social pressure try to pull you back into limitation consciousness. Financial independence strategy reduces vulnerability to matrix control. Create a strategy for becoming financially independent as quickly as possible, because financial dependence makes you vulnerable to matrix control. This might include developing multiple income streams, reducing expenses, learning valuable skills, or creating systems that generate passive income. Financial independence isn't just about money, it's about freedom to express your consciousness without fear of survival consequences. Skill development focus creates value independently of existing systems. Focus on developing skills that create value independently of existing systems. These might include creative skills, technical skills, healing skills, or teaching skills that allow you to serve others directly, rather than through institutional employment. Valuable skills give you options and reduce dependence on systems designed to extract your energy while keeping you limited. Authority reclamation restores your natural power. Reclaim your authority over your own consciousness, decisions, and life direction. Stop seeking permission from external authorities for what you know intuitively to be true and right for you. This doesn't mean becoming arrogant or dismissive of wisdom. It means trusting your inner guidance over external programming when they conflict. Mission development connects you to larger purpose. Develop a sense of mission or purpose that goes beyond personal gain. When your manifestation serves something larger than yourself, it becomes more powerful and sustainable. Billionaires often become philanthropists not just from generosity, but because they recognize that serving something larger than themselves actually increases their manifestation power. Resilience building prepares you for the journey. Build emotional and mental resilience for the challenges that come with breaking free from mass consciousness programming. This includes developing emotional regulation skills, stress management practices, and support systems that understand your journey. Breaking free from the matrix isn't always comfortable because you're leaving behind familiar limitations for unknown possibilities. Legacy consciousness extends your perspective beyond personal benefit. Think beyond your personal lifetime about the legacy you want to leave and the impact you want to have on future generations. This long-term perspective helps you persist through short-term challenges and resistance. Understanding that your liberation contributes to collective liberation makes the journey meaningful beyond personal benefit. Integration practice embodies abundance as your natural state. Practice integrating manifestation principles into everyday life, rather than treating them as separate spiritual or metaphysical activities. The goal is to embody abundance consciousness as your natural way of being, rather than something you have to consciously activate. True freedom from the matrix happens when abundance thinking becomes automatic and limitation thinking feels foreign and uncomfortable. Once you've broken free from basic programming and established consistent manifestation abilities, you can explore advanced principles that billionaires use unconsciously and that masters use deliberately. These techniques accelerate manifestation while reducing effort. Quantum field programming involves programming the quantum field directly, rather than trying to manipulate existing circumstances. This requires understanding that the quantum field is responsive to consciousness, and that clear intention can literally restructure reality at the foundation level. This technique involves accessing deep meditative states where you merge with the quantum field and imprint your desired reality directly into the fabric of space-time. This is how billionaires create seemingly impossible results that appear to violate normal cause and effect relationships. Timeline jumping allows you to shift into parallel realities where your desired outcomes already exist. Instead of gradually changing your current timeline, advanced practitioners learn to shift into parallel timelines where their desired reality already exists. This requires understanding that all possibilities exist simultaneously and that consciousness can navigate between them. Timeline jumping feels like suddenly finding yourself in a reality where circumstances have changed dramatically, without apparent cause. Opportunities appear, people behave differently, and resources become available as if reality has been rewritten. Morphic field utilization accesses collective knowledge and patterns. Every type of experience, wealth, health, relationships, creativity, has an associated morphic field containing all the information and patterns related to that experience. Advanced manifestation involves connecting with and downloading from these fields. When you connect with the wealth morphic field, for example, you gain access to wealth consciousness, wealth strategies, and wealth opportunities that exist within that field. This is how some people seem to naturally understand money and business without formal training. Collective consciousness leverage works with larger evolutionary currents. Understanding how individual consciousness interacts with collective consciousness allows for manifestation that works with larger currents rather than against them. This includes timing manifestations with collective movements and aligning personal goals with evolutionary trends. Billionaires naturally leverage collective consciousness by recognizing and riding waves of social, technological, and economic change rather than fighting against them. Dimensional perspective. Shifting reveals solutions from higher viewpoints. Advanced practitioners learn to view challenges and obstacles from higher dimensional perspectives, where solutions become obvious. This involves shifting consciousness to levels where apparent problems reveal themselves as perfect setups for desired outcomes. From higher dimensional perspectives, every challenge contains the seeds of its own solution, and every obstacle is actually a redirection towards something better. Energetic signature mastery embodies the frequency of desired outcomes. Everything you want to manifest has a specific energetic signature, a unique combination of frequency, vibration, and consciousness quality. Mastery involves learning to embody these signatures so completely that manifestation becomes automatic. When you perfectly embody the energetic signature of wealth, for example, wealthy experiences are naturally drawn to you because like attracts like at the energetic level. Intention. Attention coherence creates powerful manifestation signals. Advanced manifestation requires perfect coherence between intention and attention. Most people intend one thing while paying attention to something else, creating mixed signals that produce confused results. Masters learn to maintain laser-focused attention on their intentions while filtering out distracting information that doesn't serve their manifestation goals. Quantum entanglement creation establishes instantaneous connections with desired outcomes. Consciously creating quantum entanglement with desired outcomes accelerates manifestation by establishing instantaneous connections that transcend space and time limitations. This involves meditation practices that create genuine energetic connections with desired realities, making manifestation feel inevitable rather than hoped for. Reality anchor points stabilize manifestations against doubt and external circumstances. Setting anchor points in desired realities helps stabilize manifestations and prevent them from fluctuating based on temporary doubt or external circumstances. Anchor points are created through practices that establish unshakable certainty about specific outcomes, making them immune to contradiction from current circumstances. Manifestation. Multiplication creates compound effects across multiple goals. Advanced practitioners learn to manifest multiple desired outcomes simultaneously, rather than working on one goal at a time. This requires understanding how different manifestations can support and accelerate each other. When done correctly, manifestation multiplication creates compound effects where each success makes subsequent manifestations easier and faster. Flow state integration makes manifestation effortless and enjoyable. Integrating manifestation practices with flow states accessed through creative activities, physical movement, or immersive experiences can dramatically accelerate results while making the process more enjoyable. Flow states naturally align consciousness with quantum field responsiveness, making manifestation feel effortless rather than effortful. These advanced techniques require a foundation of consistent basic manifestation before they become accessible. Attempting advanced practices without mastering basics often leads to frustration and abandonment of the entire process. The key is progressing gradually from basic consciousness shifts to more sophisticated quantum interactions while maintaining the simplicity and naturalness that makes manifestation effective. After studying hundreds of billionaires and their thinking patterns, certain consistent characteristics emerge that reveal how abundance consciousness operates at the highest levels. Understanding these patterns allows you to model the mindset that creates extraordinary wealth. Unlimited thinking architecture automatically generates creative solutions. Billionaires don't think in terms of limitations, they think in terms of possibilities that haven't been discovered yet. When they encounter obstacles, their first thought is, how can this be solved? Rather than, this can't be done. This unlimited thinking architecture automatically generates creative solutions and innovative approaches that limited thinking would never conceive. Long-term probability positioning creates compound manifestation effects. While most people think in terms of immediate outcomes, billionaires position themselves in probability streams that favor their desired results over extended time periods. They understand that manifestation often works through accumulating small probability shifts that compound into massive results rather than through single dramatic events. Value creation obsession aligns with universal abundance principles. Billionaires are obsessed with creating value for others rather than extracting value from others. This obsession aligns them with universal principles of abundance because value creation naturally generates wealth. This isn't altruism. It's intelligent selfishness that recognizes that serving others effectively is the most reliable path to personal abundance. Systems. Intelligence multiplies individual manifestation capacity. Billionaires think in systems rather than individual actions. They create structures that generate results automatically, rather than depending on personal effort for every outcome. This system's intelligence allows them to leverage their consciousness through multiple channels simultaneously, multiplying their manifestation capacity. Failure reframing. Mastery maintains forward momentum through challenges. Billionaires have completely different relationships with failure than ordinary people. They see failure as feedback, redirection, and preparation for greater success, rather than as evidence of inadequacy. This failure reframing prevents the emotional resistance that blocks manifestation and maintains forward momentum even through challenging periods. Abundance distribution. Philosophy increases wealth flow through circulation. Most billionaires eventually realize that hoarding wealth reduces its flow, and that generous distribution actually increases abundance. This leads to philanthropic activities that serve both humanitarian and manifestation purposes. Understanding that wealth is energy that increases through circulation rather than accumulation through hoarding is advanced abundance consciousness. Reality creation awareness gives power to change seemingly unchangeable circumstances. Whether they use spiritual language or not, billionaires understand that they are creating their reality through their consciousness. They take responsibility for their experiences rather than blaming external circumstances. This reality creation awareness gives them power to change circumstances that others accept as unchangeable. Risk-reward. Recalibration enables actions that seem dangerous to limitation consciousness, but are actually safe to abundance consciousness. Billionaires have fundamentally different risk-reward calculations than ordinary people. They understand that the biggest risk is not taking risks, and that apparent security often creates real insecurity. This risk-reward recalibration allows them to take actions that seem dangerous to limitation consciousness, but are actually safe to abundance consciousness. Network effect. Maximization multiplies individual manifestation power through collective abundance consciousness. Billionaires understand that consciousness is contagious and that surrounding themselves with other abundance-conscious people multiplies their individual manifestation power. They deliberately cultivate relationships with people who think at higher levels, rather than trying to convince limited thinkers to expand their possibilities. Vision-reality integration makes desired futures feel more real than current limitations. Billionaires live in their vision more than in their current circumstances. They make decisions based on where they're going rather than where they are, which naturally moves reality toward their vision. This vision-reality integration makes their desired future feel more real than their current limitations. Purpose-profit alignment amplifies manifestation abilities through cosmic intelligence support. Advanced billionaires align their profit motives with larger purposes that serve human evolution and planetary well-being. This alignment with cosmic intelligence amplifies their manifestation abilities. When personal success serves universal evolution, it receives support from forces beyond individual consciousness. Continuous expansion commitment prevents stagnation and maintains alignment with natural growth principles. Billionaires remain committed to continuous expansion rather than reaching a success level and becoming comfortable. They understand that consciousness must keep growing, or it begins contracting. This expansion commitment keeps them aligned with the natural growth principle that governs manifestation and prevents stagnation. Present moment power. Access allows full consciousness response to opportunities and challenges. Despite their long-term thinking, billionaires understand that power exists only in the present moment, and that past success and future goals are irrelevant to current decision-making. This present moment power access allows them to respond to opportunities and challenges with full consciousness, rather than being limited by historical thinking patterns. The key insight is that these thinking patterns aren't natural talents that billionaires were born with. They're consciousness disciplines that can be developed by anyone willing to break free from limitation programming and consistently practice abundance thinking. The difference between billionaire consciousness and ordinary consciousness isn't genetic or circumstantial. It's simply a matter of what thoughts, beliefs, and expectations you choose to maintain consistently. Breaking free from the billionaire conspiracy requires systematically deprogramming limitation beliefs while reprogramming abundance consciousness. This process must be approached strategically because your current programming will resist change. Identifying core limitation programs running in your subconscious is the essential first step. These often sound like, money doesn't grow on trees. You have to work hard for everything. Rich people are greedy. There's not enough to go around. I don't deserve abundance. Write down every limitation belief you can identify about money, success, and abundance. Most people are shocked to discover how many limiting programs they're carrying unconsciously. Tracing programming sources helps you recognize that limitation beliefs were imposed rather than chosen. For each limitation belief, identify where it came from. Was it from family messages, school teachings, religious instruction, media consumption, or peer pressure? Understanding the source helps you recognize that these beliefs were imposed rather than chosen. This recognition reduces the emotional charge around limitation beliefs and makes them easier to release because you realize they were never truly yours. Emotional charge neutralization dissolves the power that limitation beliefs hold over you. Limitation beliefs maintain their power through emotional charge. Neutralizing this charge requires feeling the emotions associated with limitation beliefs without resistance until they naturally dissolve. This might involve anger about being programmed, sadness about missed opportunities, or fear about changing beliefs that feel safe, even though they're limiting. Evidence examination reveals that limitation beliefs are maintained through confirmation bias rather than objective reality. Examine the evidence that supports your limitation beliefs versus evidence that contradicts them. Most limitation beliefs are based on selective attention to confirming evidence while ignoring contradictory evidence. When you honestly examine evidence, you often discover that limitation beliefs are not supported by objective reality, but are maintained through confirmation bias. Identity restructuring is necessary because limitation beliefs are often connected to identity structures. If you identify as someone who struggles with money, changing that identity is necessary for manifestation success. Practice identifying as someone who naturally attracts abundance, even before you have evidence of this new identity. Identity change precedes experience change. Language pattern interruption gradually changes manifestation results through consciousness shifts. Interrupt automatic language patterns that reinforce limitation. Replace "I can't afford it" with "How can I afford it?" Replace "That's impossible" with "How is that possible?" Replace "I'm not lucky" with "I create my own luck." Language shapes consciousness, and consciousness shapes reality. Changing your language gradually changes your manifestation results. Visualization reprogramming creates new subconscious assumptions about your capabilities. Use visualization not just to imagine desired outcomes, but to reprogram subconscious beliefs about what's possible for you. Visualize yourself naturally attracting abundance, easily solving problems, and confidently creating success. The key is making these visualizations feel natural rather than forced, so they reprogram your subconscious with new assumptions about your capabilities. Social environment, gradual shifting supports abundance, consciousness development. Gradually shift your social environment toward people who support abundance consciousness and away from people who reinforce limitation consciousness. This doesn't require dramatic relationship changes but involves managing influences consciously. Spend more time with people who think expansively and less time with people who think limitedly. Your consciousness naturally adapts to your social environment. Media diet transformation consistently exposes you to abundance examples rather than limitation narratives. Transform your media consumption from limitation-reinforcing content to abundance-supporting content. This includes news, entertainment, social media, books, podcasts, and conversations. Create a media diet that consistently exposes you to possibility thinking, success stories, creative solutions, and abundance examples rather than problem focus and limitation narratives. Experiential evidence building proves to your subconscious that consciousness creates reality. Build evidence of your manifestation abilities through small successes that prove to your subconscious that consciousness creates reality. Start with low-stakes manifestations that feel believable and work up to larger goals. Each small success builds confidence and weakens limitation programming, while strengthening abundance programming. Resistance integration addresses valid concerns rather than fighting internal opposition. Instead of fighting resistance to new programming, integrate it by understanding what it's trying to protect. Resistance often contains valid concerns that need to be addressed rather than ignored. Thank your resistance for trying to keep you safe, then consciously choose new beliefs that provide safety through empowerment rather than limitation. Habit replacement protocols create new neural pathways that support abundance consciousness. Replace limitation reinforcing habits with abundance reinforcing habits. This might include changing morning routines, evening practices, decision-making processes, or response patterns to challenges. New habits create new neural pathways that support new consciousness patterns, making abundance thinking more automatic over time. Progress tracking systems maintain motivation and help you notice improvements. Create systems for tracking your deprogramming and reprogramming progress. This might include consciousness journals, manifestation logs, belief tracking, or regular assessment of your thinking patterns. Tracking progress maintains motivation during challenging phases and helps you notice subtle improvements that might otherwise go unrecognized. The deprogramming and reprogramming process takes time because you're changing decades of conditioning, but it accelerates as new programming gains momentum and old programming weakens. Understanding the conspiracy and the principles is only valuable if you can implement them practically in your daily life. Here's a systematic approach to applying quantum manifestation while surrounded by a system designed to keep you limited. Foundation building involves consciousness awareness practices that help you recognize your current thinking patterns without immediately trying to change them. Spend 10 minutes daily observing your automatic thoughts about money, success, and abundance. Create a simple morning practice that includes gratitude for what you already have, visualization of your desired reality, and intention setting for the day. Keep it simple and consistent, rather than elaborate and sporadic. Start an abundance evidence journal, where you record every example of abundance in your life, no matter how small. This trains your attention to notice abundance rather than lack. Programming interruption begins the active transformation of limitation patterns. Begin interrupting limitation thoughts and replacing them with abundance thoughts. When you catch yourself thinking, "I can't afford it," immediately shift to, "How can I create this?" Implement a media diet that reduces limitation programming and increases abundance programming. Limit news consumption, avoid negative social media, and consume content that expands your sense of possibility. Practice the "What would a billionaire do?" question whenever you face decisions. This helps you think from abundance consciousness rather than limitation consciousness. Active manifestation applies the complete process to specific goals. Choose one specific manifestation goal that feels exciting but believable. Use the complete manifestation process: consciousness selection, belief integration, expectation alignment, action alignment, and reality recognition. Implement daily practices that maintain alignment with your manifestation goal. This might include visualization, affirmations, meditation, or other practices that keep you connected to your desired reality. Take inspired actions that demonstrate your new consciousness. This might include investments in yourself, changes in how you handle money, or decisions that align with abundance rather than scarcity. Advanced integration incorporates multiple manifestation goals and sophisticated techniques. Begin working with multiple manifestation goals simultaneously, while maintaining consistency with your primary goal. Practice manifestation, multiplication, and flow state integration. Experiment with advanced techniques like quantum field programming or morphic field utilization as your basic manifestation abilities stabilize. Focus on developing systems that generate results automatically rather than requiring constant conscious effort. This moves you toward billionaire-level thinking and manifestation. Mastery development expands your abilities while serving larger purposes. Continue expanding your manifestation abilities while using them to serve purposes larger than personal gain. This alignment with service amplifies manifestation power. Teach others what you've learned through example and direct sharing. Teaching accelerates your own learning while contributing to collective awakening. Maintain beginner's mind and continuous learning while developing confidence in your natural creative abilities. Daily practice framework provides structure for consistent application. Morning involves 15 minutes of consciousness alignment practices including gratitude, visualization, and intention setting. Throughout the day, monitor thoughts and make decisions from abundance consciousness. Evening includes 10 minutes of manifestation review and appreciation. Weekly review manifestation progress, adjust strategies based on results, and plan inspired actions for the following week. Monthly assess overall consciousness shifts, celebrate manifestation successes, and set expanded goals based on new confidence levels. Common implementation challenges require specific strategies to overcome. Impatience with results can be managed by remembering that consciousness change is instant, but physical manifestation can take time. Focus on consciousness consistency rather than outcome timing. Social resistance occurs when people around you may resist your changes. Stay committed to your growth while being patient with others who aren't ready for expansion. Old pattern temptation happens when you'll be tempted to return to familiar limitation patterns during stressful times. Have strategies prepared for maintaining abundance consciousness during challenges. Overwhelm with information can be prevented by focusing on consistent application of basic principles rather than collecting more techniques or information. Doubt during delays should be used as an opportunity to strengthen faith and consistency rather than abandoning the process when manifestations don't appear immediately. Success indicators help you recognize progress and maintain motivation. Your thinking naturally focuses on opportunities rather than problems. Decision-making becomes easier because you're aligned with clear vision. Synchronicities and lucky breaks increase noticeably. People respond to you differently as your energy shifts. Money and opportunities flow more easily into your life. Physical stress decreases as you stop fighting against limitation consciousness. Creativity and inspiration increase as you align with natural abundance. Relationships improve as you operate from abundance rather than neediness. Overall life satisfaction increases regardless of external circumstances. Scaling strategy builds from small successes to larger manifestations. Start with small manifestations that build confidence, then gradually work up to larger goals as your abilities strengthen. Focus on consistency rather than intensity. Daily practice for months produces better results than intensive practice for days. Build success momentum by celebrating every manifestation win, no matter how small. Use each success as evidence that the process works, and confidence for attempting larger manifestations. Remember that you're not just changing your personal life, you're contributing to the collective awakening from limitation programming. Your success gives others permission to explore their own abundance potential. The truth I've shared with you today threatens everything the current system depends on. Your belief in limitation, your acceptance of scarcity, and your dependence on external authorities for permission to succeed. Billionaires don't want you to know that quantum manifestation is simple because their wealth depends on your poverty consciousness. The educational system doesn't want you to know because your independence threatens their relevance. The media doesn't want you to know because your empowerment reduces their control. But now you know the truth. Consciousness creates reality. Like attracts like, and change happens instantly when you genuinely shift your internal state. You have the same creative abilities as any billionaire. You've just been programmed to believe you don't. The manifestation process isn't complicated. Choose what to be consistently conscious of. Integrate supporting beliefs. Align your expectations with your desires. Take actions that demonstrate your new consciousness. And recognize results when they appear. The only thing that makes this seem difficult is the sophisticated programming system designed to keep you believing in limitation, while those who understand abundance consciousness accumulate wealth and power. Your journey back to your natural creative abilities requires deprogramming limitation beliefs, reprogramming abundance consciousness, and consistently applying these principles despite social pressure to conform to limitation. This isn't just about personal wealth. It's about liberation from a system that requires your limitation to maintain itself. Every person who discovers their natural manifestation abilities weakens the artificial scarcity system and strengthens collective abundance consciousness. The billionaire conspiracy only works when people don't know about it. Your awareness and application of these principles contributes to the awakening that will eventually make artificial scarcity impossible to maintain. You don't need their permission, their systems, or their approval to create abundance. You need only the courage to trust your natural creative power and the persistence to apply it consistently until limitation programming dissolves completely. The universe isn't withholding abundance from you. You've been programmed to withhold it from yourself. The moment you stop believing their lies about limitation, you start experiencing the truth about your infinite creative potential. If this message has awakened something within you, if you felt the truth of your own power while listening, leave one word in the comments that represents your commitment to breaking free from limitation programming. That word becomes your declaration of independence from the billionaire conspiracy. And if you're ready to join others who are awakening to their natural abundance abilities, subscribe and become part of a community that understands the truth they don't want you to know. You are a powerful creator. Abundance is your birthright, And the only thing keeping you poor is your belief in their lies about limitation. The quantum field responds to consciousness, not circumstances. Your consciousness is changing right now. Your reality will follow. Welcome to your liberation.